Macklemore recently came out with a music video called Drug Dealer, which I happen to love. I think it's a brilliant performance, and it begs us to ask the question, what the fuck are we being told is okay to put in our bodies? Today I'm going to talk about why I think Western medicine is due for an upgrade. This is the Danny Zen Show. I want to tell you about Matthew Ricard. Matthew was a French molecular genetics scientist who, after getting his degree from the Pasteur Institute in France, pulled a mic drop and then moved to Tibet to become a Buddhist monk.
Obama.
Today he is a confidant of the Dalai Lama and he's a Buddhist celebrity. And 100% of the profits from his books go to building schools and providing healthcare to those in need. Matthew Ricard was featured in a study at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. So in this study, they were seeing what goes on in the brains of Tibetan monks. And what they found was very, very interesting. When they observed the brain activity of Matthew, they found that he had the highest capacity for happiness ever recorded. Gangsta shit.
Gangsta shit.
And he claims that this is something he trained himself to do through meditation, making the point that you can exercise your brain just like you would exercise a muscle in your body. He is just able to be more happy. He has a bigger container for happiness. It's like bigger than this room. That's a lot of happiness. He has a lot of happiness going on. I think this offers a really interesting perspective on the way that we view happiness and depression in Western culture. We tend to assume that each person has a natural level of happiness, which is kind of just like their plateau. We're kind of hovering below it, and that you can add in all these external factors and drugs to kind of like get you closer to that point. This study with Matthew Ricard kind of suggests that you can actually expand your maximum capacity for happiness. Actually, it doesn't really suggest it, it kind of proves it. But if you go to a doctor in the US and you have depression, they give you like medications that numb you to the bad feelings. And I don't know, like, I'll be honest, I don't know that much about how it works. I'm kind of talking out of my ass a little bit here. But I know that there's a lot of drugs that people prescribe. If you give someone a pill to try to make them happy, when that pill is taken away, they don't keep the happiness. But with meditation, it is a practice, and you are actually building your strength, which allows you to be happy. You're making your brain a happier place to live overall. I just think that we would be better served as a whole if we had a more holistic view about what makes people happy. We should be diagnosing meditation and mindful practices that actually make a person happier from the core. Meditation, not medication. I see throwing drugs at the problem as fixing the faucet when the well is polluted. You see what I'm saying? Now here's the thing, there's basically no money in meditation. And there is a lot of money in drugs, and they get people addicted. I'm not gonna sit here and say that necessarily this is a conspiracy, like to only make money, but I think it's pretty convenient that the solution that we have accepted as the only solution is this one that makes people a lot of money and doesn't actually fix the problem, gets people addicted, and makes it so that people have to keep spending money for the rest of their lives. Rather than saying, hey, you know what, instead of doing that, first maybe go try out a 10-day Vipassana retreat and see how that treats you. But even more than this, I find meditation fascinating because it can actually fix things that we don't think are able to be fixed. One really great example of this, I have a friend who, when he was in high school, he and one of his buddies decided that they were going to explore their consciousness. They ended up taking a lot of drugs, like just all different, whatever kind of drugs they could get their hands on, and like writing about the effects that it had on their states of consciousness. This destroyed his brain. He literally lost the capacity to think. He could not think anymore. His brain was non-functional. He was a zombie. But after years of meditating for hours a day, finding spiritual guidance, at one point going to India to meditate in an ashram for an entire month, he's now studying to get his PhD in neuroscience. He's totally fine. He's a functioning human being again. If you brought someone who had stopped their brain from functioning because of drugs to a doctor, what would they say? Pretty much we would say, yeah, that guy's fucked for life. That sucks. That's pretty much the only option that we really have to deal with that scenario. And yet, a holistic practice like meditation healed the functioning of his brain. It changed the architecture of his brain so that it would work again. I think that's an incredible story. Meditation can also fix physical ailments as well. When I did my 10-day Vipassana course over a year ago now, there was one woman there who had severe back problems, and she had prescription painkillers in order to just be able to function through her life. She told the facilitators that she needed these or else she wouldn't be able to do the program. But you're not allowed to have medication in a Vipassana course. So they told her, you either got to do without or you got to go. She decided to stay. And thank God, on the 4th day, she said her pain in her back just went away. Crippling pain in her back was just gone. So think about that. By just sitting still for a few days, clearing her head, and observing the sensations of her body, she was able to fix a problem that Western doctors thought that only drugs could solve. Think of the implications of that. Actually being able to fix a physical medical ailment by sitting still and clearing your head. That's insane. That kind of bucked my sense of reality. This is not pseudo-spiritual bullshit. This is not like, oh, the energies and the cosmos and my crystals. This is someone fixing a physical medical problem through meditation. Alright, so those are anecdotal stories, and I know that I can't just deride antidepressants totally, and maybe meditation won't fix everything. But I think we need to actually give it a fair shot. I think there are a lot of people that are just throwing drugs at the problem and they'll be addicted to those for their whole life when all they need to do is go and learn how to meditate properly over the course of 10 days. Go to a Vipassana course, it's free, and try and treat it that way. We need to have a more holistic view of health in this country. Do you have a crazy story about meditation, or do you have some thoughts about the things that I said about antidepressants? Maybe that I'm full of bullshit? Let me know. Or if you think I'm just cute, if you like the scarf, anything. I wanna hear what you're thinking. So let me know and hit subscribe.